good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, depending on where you place in the world. And welcome to this new webinar where we really expect you to learn something that will ease your life as a civil engineer, as we always try in our webinars. In today's webinars, we are going to introduce you to OpenTunnel Designer, the first and only purpose-built software for tunnel modeling and design. So hope you like it. I will start introducing myself, especially for those that is the first time that are joining our webinars. My name is Sergio Cediel. I work as a product sales enginear here in Bentley System, taking care of the civil design solutions. So all the solutions that has to do with road design, railway design, bridge design, tunnel design, site development, bridge design as well. I am the guy responsible of them, right? So if at any time you have any questions about them, please ask me. I will be very happy to support. Before joining Bentley, let me tell you that I was working as a civil designer for several years in a Spanish company. I also had the chance to work in the UK for the HS2 project, right? So yeah, I have some years of experience in infrastructure projects, right? So today with me, we are very lucky to have and to count with Vlad Grigoras, my colleague and product manager of Bridge and Tunnel Solutions in Bentley Systems. All good, Vlad?
All good, all good. Hello, everyone. So my name is Vlad Grigoras. I am a structural engineer, civil engineer with a master's degrees in geotechnical engineering. I have over 13 years of experience on designing different structures, and I have joined Bentley, I think about 7 years ago. I started as a quality assurance engineer, and now I'm the product manager for Open Bridge Designer and Open Tunnel Designer. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you very much for joining, and I hope that what we will present today, it will increase your awareness about our integrated tunnel design solution.
Great, Vlad. Thank you very much. So as I always do, I have prepared some polls, okay? So the first one, it's just to get a better understanding or what we have at the other side of the screen, right? I would like to know which is the type of role, okay, of the engineers that probably have joined today's session. So which of the following suits better your role? Tunnel engineer, geotechnical engineer, architect, asset owner, or BIM manager? What can we expect today? Vlad, what do you think?
I would go maybe with tunnel engineers and geotechnical engineers, because in here we have maybe a bigger mixture of roles. Sometimes the geotechnical engineer is also the tunnel engineer in charge for that project.
Exactly.
And on the second place, I think we'll have the BIM managers that have a great interest on a new BIM software solution for tunnels.
Yeah, actually, I think that this session is going to be very, very interesting for anyone that is involved in BIM workflows, right? Or at least trying to implement them. Okay, let me close the poll because I can see that the people already vote. So let me share the results with you. So there you go. You were right.
Yeah.
In this case, on top, we have the geotechnical engineers. Thanks for answering. Then tunnel engineers, and as you said, BIM managers in third position. Okay. Thank you very much for answering. Let me hide it. And let me also run a second one. This one is more accurate to the topic that we are going to cover today. So, which of the following better describes your workflow? 2D CAD design, architectural software plus visual scripting, civil software, open roads, open rails, civil 3D, or any local hero, or other. In the case that you go for other, it will be great if you don't mind to place in the chat or in the question box which is the workflow that you are currently using. It will be very interesting because at the end, what we try is always to improve your workflows. So if there is any chance to try to think about it and implement it in our tool, that will be great. As per your experience, Vlad, which will be for you the most popular, common scenario when it comes to?
I will go with architectural software and civil software.
Architectural software.
On a global level, yes, I think that will be the first two options, and then the 2D CAD design. Okay. Depending on the region, depending on the country, but with today's technology, I believe the architectural software and the civil software will be on the first two places.
Okay, let's see what people have answered, and we will share the results with you.
Ooh,
Yes,
okay.
slightly different this time. We have mainly people that are using civil software. We don't know, but it could be any for open roads, civil 3D, or any local hero, depending on the country. I'm curious about the ones that answered other. So as I said, if you
Yeah.
don't mind to explain in the chat box what is the workflow in few words, that would be great. Then we have 2D CAD design, and in the bottom, architectural software. Okay, interesting. Good. So I'll close and we will continue with the session. Okay, quickly, I wanted to do a catch up of the different sessions that we are organizing framed under this OpenTunnel designer promotion, right? We start last week with a expert talk, right? It was very interesting. I was with Vlad, product manager, and also Claudio Cabral, the head of ground engineering and tunnel at IESA, international company, and we were mainly discussing about workflows, right? You have here the QR code if you would like to directly access to that talk. It lasts like around 1 hour. We're talking about past workflows, current workflows, ideal workflows, okay, and talking about the different gaps and roadblocks that Claudio, as an engineer, find in the daily basis, okay? Today, we have let's say the first session in a way of in the form of a webinar where we are introducing OpenTunnel Designer, and we will have a second one that is already fixed, and I will share with you later the link if you really want to access. That is going to be more focused with Plaxis and Leapfrog, and potentially we'll have a third one because we have a new release coming, right, Vlad? We don't know yet
Yes,
where,
yes,
but it's coming with a lot of
yes.
new functionalities. So if this comes some time, we will prepare that one and we will show to you the different updates. Okay. So quickly, just to let you know that we have a Q&A session by the end. I will also share with you the link to this second session. And what we are going to talk about: existing tunnel design workflows, what will be the ideal workflow, okay? And this is based also in the feedback that we got from Claudio, our guest for the previous session. And from there, Vlad, our expert, will take it over and we will introduce us and the rest of the audience to Open Tunnel Design, okay? So, current workflows. This was a very interesting part of the previous session that we had with Claudio, right? Because despite the level of digitalization that we have nowadays, we still find gaps, right, Vlad? Where we can
Yes,
really
yes.
find the most important gaps that are causing delays, extra time, extra cost within the industry.
This is coming mainly from the process of, let's say, sharing information between different disciplines. So the geotechnical engineer has his own model, the BIM engineer or the BIM manager has his own model. The drafters may work on some models, and then if something changes in the input data, then everyone needs to update accordingly. But in here, anything can happen because somebody maybe forgets to update a file, somebody forgets to increase maybe the lining thickness.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of issues can occur from the initial design. So we are not talking now about building that asset, but from the initial design, we can have major issues that maybe we have not seen them in early stages of design.
Because at the end, what I think that is can really happen is that there is not like a specific software, right, for tunnel design
No,
itself, right? People are kind of working with different workarounds, as you said,
until now,
architecturals.
yes,
Exactly, exactly,
yes.
exactly. So,
Will be this software that unites all the disciplines and gives to the tunnel engineers the right tools to do the job.
mhm. Okay, correct. If you would like to go further into this current workflow scenario, again, I will recommend you to go to that previous session because we had a very interesting and deep conversation with Claudio about it. Okay, so based on that session that we had, we asked Claudio to provide us like a set list of functionality that he understands that could define the ideal software, right? So, well, here I have listed them. Afterwards, Vlad is going to speak about OpenTunnel, and by the end of the session, we will see if all the solutions that we have in Bentley, not only OpenTunnel, also the partners when it comes to tunnel design, can be can include or can be part of this set list as well, right? So yeah, most of them were basically focused on, as you just mentioned, Vlad, coordination, right? We have different disciplines, we're working with different softwares. If I update something in my model, are you going to get the update or not? If I get, for example, ground investigation once the design has started, do I need to start from scratch, or I can just import it and update everything accordingly, right? So most of them, as you can see there, listed here on the screen, are about it, right? But we will cover it while we are talking about OpenTunnel Designer. So that's it. I will hand it over to Vlad, our product manager for OpenTunnel Designer, which is the first and only purpose-built software for tunnel modeling and design. It would be great, Vlad, if you can tell us about the story behind, right? When you first start about thinking about this potential solution, took it over, because we need to say that this is not a new solution. It has been already in the market for a year and some months, right?
1 year. Yeah, 1 year.
Exactly.
We had in our portfolio different solutions for different disciplines that are involved in a tunnel project. So if you think about geology, we have Leapfrog Works. If you think about geotechnical engineering, we had Plaxis. But the thing that we were missing was, and I will start sharing my screen.
Yeah, sorry to cut you. Yeah, exactly. I have
Yes.
made you the presenter, so you can go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so we had the Leapfrog Works for geological modeling, we had Plaxis for geotechnical analysis, but we were missing the BIM modeler, basically that software solution that can produce the physical model and also easily have a connection with the geological modeling and with the geotechnical model also. And we started to work on OpenTunnel about 3 years ago, and we have released our first version last September in Copenhagen on World Tunnel Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And until then, we have released already 2 versions, and we are very close to release our 3rd version. One thing that OpenTunnel also brings in this integrated tunnel design and management solution that Bentley provides right now is the direct connection to iTwin for asset lifecycle management, for design review, for context capture, and also for monitorization of the asset when we are talking about an existing asset. So you can place your IoT sensors on the structure and then visualize the data coming from those sensors inside iTwin, because OpenTunnel has produced that model for iTwin. So how does a normal, or let's say a proposed workflow looks in our opinion? As per any project out there, you have the input data. And in here, we can break it down on 2 major let's say, directions. The first one is the civil design data. In here, you can have, as an initial input, you can have the alignment. Maybe you can have the corridor, the road corridor, the rail corridor, so on and so forth. OpenTunnel Designer is built over MicroStation and also over OpenRoads Designer. This means that we have the entire civil intelligence that OpenRoads Designer has at this moment on the market. You will be able to create your own alignments inside OpenTunnel Designer, and also you will be able to open OpenRoads files that have been created with corridors and alignments, or you can import that information, the alignment, through an XML, ALG, or any other file format that we are supporting.
Mm-hmm.
The second direction is the geological model, right? And in here, you can have the borehole information, you can have the DTM, the site, You can have subsurface data like underground pipes and so on and so forth. All of this information, if it's stored in a DGN, that can be referenced inside OpenTunnel, and you can work with that one. Or you can go to OpenGround or directly to Leapfrog to create your geological model. This means that in Leapfrog, you'll create the 3D model, the 3D meshes with different properties for those soils. And from there, you have the option to export through IFC the soil meshes, and OpenTunnel will be able to create those meshes inside OpenTunnel. We will be able to add material properties with analytical properties also that are targeting Plaxis. And then when you will create your physical model, the tunnel, we will cut those soil meshes. From OpenTunnel Designer, with just a click of a button, you will be able to create the geotechnical models for Plaxis 2D or Plaxis 3D. This is done automatically. We are creating some scripting files that are loaded inside Plaxis, so Python script files, and we are sending the entire geometry of the tunnel with the reinforcement in Plaxis. So basically, OpenTunnel creates the geometry for Plaxis. Because we are built over MicroStation as our base, let's say, we have multiple capabilities when it comes to project deliverables, when it comes to interoperability. Basically, anything that you can do with MicroStation or with OpenRoads when it comes to drawings, we can do it also. They are the same tools. Everything is the same. If you have experience with MicroStation and OpenRoads, you will see that everything is the same. Mm-hmm. When it comes to interoperability, because we are working with a DGN file format, we can interop with any other open product from Bentley portfolio. But also, if you need maybe advanced visualization projects, you can open our files inside LumenRT and you can create your presentation there. And lastly, we have the direct connection to iTwin. This means that OpenTunnel will create a model and it will be updated to the cloud. And in there, that model can be used for different scenarios. Initially, in the first stages of design or during the design, you will be able to do project review. Basically, anyone that is involved in that project will see the same model, will see the same objects, and they will be able to do the review without them needing to have maybe OpenTunnel, maybe to have OpenRoads. So basically everything will be there and they will not need those applications.
Interesting. Okay. I have a question here. Vlad, did you mention LumenRT? Is LumenRT included, right, within OpenTunnel?
The LumenRT is included as an optional installment. It's free, so once you are installing OpenTunnel, you have an option to go directly to software downloads and download LumenRT from there. Or if you already have OpenTunnel installed, you can go to software downloads, download LumenRT, and everything will be okay.
Excellent. I can see that there are already some questions, but I will let Vlad to explain the key capabilities and maybe and the next video, and after that maybe we can go for those questions.
Okay. Just to go quickly over the key capabilities, I've already spoken about those in the last slide, but when it comes, for instance, for the physical model, OpenTunnel is able to create the tunnel excavation. This can be created as a full face excavation, or I can break down on excavation tracks. The number is what the user wants to create there. We are supporting tunnel lining construction for conventional tunnels, for TBM tunnels, and also with a given, let's say, efficiency, we can also create cut and cover. Even if the modeling is not too, let's say, with a high level of detail, it all depends on what the user wants to achieve with his template. As you can see here, this is a very simple option where I have the piles, I have my cut, I have my soil, I have my tunnel, but whatever the user is drawing on the tunnel template, we are able to extrude it and create 3D models in the 3D space. In the same time, OpenTunnel has the capabilities to parametrically update the 3D solid. And this is something that the user needs to take into consideration when he is creating the tunnel template. If the user is adding constraints to the geometry that is defining the geometry of the tunnel, then later on into the design, it will be very easy for him just to change a value for a given constraint, and the 3D model will update, and after that, all the drawings and reports will be updated automatically.
Mm-hmm.
I will not go too much through the Plaxis transfer and ProStructures because I have some short videos prepared for this in the next slides.
Perfect.
Would you like to go to the first video, Sergio, or should I take some?
Let's go for
answers?
the first video, and from there I think that we can answer the different questions. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a general workflow with a model. As you can see here, we start with the input data. We have a small portion of the road corridor, we have the alignment, and we have also the topo surface. Now we are assigning a coordinate system because we are working in real world coordinates. Once we are doing this, we have the option to visualize the Bing maps overlapping our project. So this is very easily to see if your initial geometry is overlapping correctly on real world coordinates. We'll just do a little bit of cleanup by hiding the triangles so that we can better see what we are doing. We start by adding a tunnel corridor. Basically, a tunnel corridor is a collection of smaller tunnel units. Let's say I have a portal, then I have maybe a portion of the tunnel that has as reinforcement 4 poles. Then, I don't know, I need to switch to a TBM because I'm going under the sea. And then on my last portion of the tunnel, again, I am going with a conventional. This is very easy. You can define here multiple units, and each unit will be created using one of the templates from the library or the one that the user has created in his model. We'll turn off the map just to see what we are doing there, and we'll go to import one of the templates that I have in my own library. We are providing already a very extensive library with different cross-sections where we have also advanced parametrically constrained cross-sections. I will just stop here a little bit just to show how easy it is to create a cross-section. As you can see here, we are in a 2D space, and the user will only have to draw using 2D command geometry, basically lines, circles, splines, rectangles, so on and so forth. And using our dedicated tools that we are providing, the user will assign different properties to the geometry that he has defined in the model. In here, I have tried to model, and you'll see the result also. We have a dedicated command for portals, so we have the portal element, but I have tried to do maybe something that is of more interest. I've created a portal as a small section of the tunnel, and for that portal, I also created a pile wall where I have used the rockbolts command to create those piles. So you can see there that we have on top the cap beam, we have the wall defining the entrance into the tunnel, and later on we will see how we are adding the reinforcement for that object. We are switching now to the second unit. In here we have the actual tunnel. We are dividing the tunnel in section lengths. Basically, these section lengths can be interpreted as an excavation advancement length. I am excavating on 32 feet, and I am creating the lining, and then I'm going again on the next step of excavation. And this is of importance also for the transfer to Plaxis. When it comes to the template orientation, we are providing two main options. One is vertical to the world. Basically, the face of the tunnel will be parallel with the vertical plane. And we also have normal. This means that the face of the tunnel will be perpendicular to the profile. So depending on the situation, the user has the option to specify how the solid should be created. Now you can see there the end portal, and we'll go back to the first one. And we'll start adding the first layer of the shotcrete on my main tunnel. Because everything is already defined on the template, the user just starts the placement command. We already know what that template contains. And for different cases for the reinforcement, we are just requesting for some inputs from the user, like how many rows of rock bolts do you want me to place on each tunnel section? So now you can see again why that tunnel length section is important, because that will be used later on for modeling different other objects.
Mhm.
And now we'll create that pile wall using the rock bolts command. So even if in here the command is called rock bolts, this does not constrain me in creating additional elements that I need in my model with that option. Okay, so but what about the interior objects, the auxiliary objects? I have here some barriers, I have some sidewalks, I have a bottom slab there that it's needed. Again, all of that geometry has been defined on my template. I am using the dedicated command for placing auxiliaries that will be extruded along the tunnel length. And in here we have different options for placing this. We have a long tunnel with sections or custom. Basically, with sections means that for each tunnel lining section, I will create one section for the auxiliaries that I am placing. When I am placing, let's say, a long tunnel, I will create just one single solid from start to end, and the custom one will give you the option to specify a start station, end station, the number of those objects that are to be placed, their length, and so on and so forth. Now what you are visualizing here is placing, let's say, singular auxiliary objects like smoke fans or maybe some lighting fixtures. You can place those and they will follow the curvature of the tunnel, and you will be able to modify their placement rule after placement. We'll go here quickly through creating civil drawings using the built-in options coming from OpenRoads. We'll start with some civil cross sections, and you'll see how everything looks. Everything that you see here has been created automatically. Of course, the user can come add his own annotation if he wants, maybe new notes, or if he wants to create his own annotation, he will be able to do that in the libraries, and in the next time that he is using that dgnlib, he will have his custom annotations for those cross sections. Now we have done a profile cut where you can see all the reinforcement, the lining, the auxiliary objects that have been placed, and we will create also here a plan and profile. Basically, we will match the name boundaries defined on the plan view with the ones that will be defined on the profile view. You need to keep in mind that once you have placed all of these name boundaries, if the tunnel changes, like something has changed in the lining thickness, maybe my rock bolt's length has changed, you will not have the need to recreate all of these drawings again. Everything will be done automatically for you. So everything is updated once a change is taking place into the model. Okay, I think we have reached the end for the first movie. So, Sergio,
Yeah, we
if
can
you want to
go.
go with the
Yeah, let's go
questions.
over some of the questions. The first one is from Monia Boegner. Thanks, Monia. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is not correct. Is it possible to import the geometry civil design data input directly as a IFC into OpenTunnel, for example, with an existing BIM model?
Through IFC, if we are talking about the alignment, yes, I know we have an option to import the IFC alignments. If we are talking about importing other objects, underground structures as an IFC, I know it's possible, but that should be done through iTwin, I believe,
Well,
to
yes.
import the IFC. And in our applications also we can import it, but we have version 2.3 and 4, if I'm not mistaken, for the versions that we are supporting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, the question it talks about import the geometry. So
If it's
yes,
about geometry, yes.
exactly.
So if you can import that geometry in open roads, this means we can import it also.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
anything that is related to the input geometry that you can do with open roads, we can do it also.
Okay, excellent. We have another question from Monia. Does it also support LV95 coordinates? I think that these are the coordinate system, national coordinate systems from Switzerland.
We have in our library, let me see if I can go back here. No, a little bit here. So in here, we have a very extensive library that covers the entire globe. Based on our knowledge, at least on my knowledge, working with different users around the globe, we always find the coordinate system that we need in our library, because we have all the coordinate systems from around the world on different. You have it as GPS, latitude, and longitude, so different formats also they are contained in the library.
Exactly. We also have users in Switzerland, Austria, and these regions using OpenRail and OpenRoute. So probably it's already there because nobody asked us about it. So, okay, great. We have another question from Nicolas Ruyeles. Is creating the tunnel corridor similar to OpenRoads Designer? Can I use an OpenRoads template in OpenTunnel?
No, there is a big difference between OpenRoads Designer and OpenTunnel. OpenRoads is creating the objects as meshes, while OpenTunnel creates those objects as solids. Because we are using this information later on, for instance, in ProStructures, where we need to add additional objects on our models, let's say concrete rebars or maybe steel ribs as the first support. In order to have this possibility, our objects need to be created as solids. So if you have the ITL format from ORD, those cannot be imported, but it's very easy to create a geometry in OpenTunnel because it's basically a 2D file where you are just defining some shapes and you are assigning a geometry to those elements. Not a geometry, some properties to those elements.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay, we have an extra question coming from Masood. Do you have templates for SEM caverns? SEM caverns? To be honest, I am not
The
familiar with them.
user. So we have some templates in our library for conventional tunnels, some predefined templates for conventional tunnels and also for TBM tunnels. But again, let's say you have your template drawn with other software solution that is a 2D in a 2D environment. It's just a matter of exporting that geometry to a DGN, and then you open a template on our side, you copy the geometry from your existing file in our file, and from there you just do some steps like combining all the lines in one single region, that is a closed region. We are searching for closed regions. You just use one single command that is called create a closed boundary. You select that one, you then tag it, and that's it. You have created your own template inside OpenTunnel.
Okay, thank you, Vlad. Perfect. Thank Masoud, Moni, and Nicolas for your questions. We have another one from Juan Diego. Can I incorporate instrumentation data in real time?
The instrumentation data in real time will have to be implemented or linked, let's say, inside iTwin. OpenTunnel will create a physical asset, then this will be sent to iTwin, and inside iTwin you have there the possibility to read the information from your IoT sensors and then create your own views that are showing that information in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a small video regarding iTwin also that is for design review, but you will understand better what is happening in iTwin.
Perfect. Thank you, Vlad. Okay, I think that we can continue.
Okay. So design review on iTwin. You can do this, let's say, linking the projects in two ways, either from the start of the projects when you are creating your workspace and workset, you can link your model to iTwin, or after the design, you have under collaborate, you have here the option again to link to one of the iModels that you have already created for iTwin. Once you start the command, you only create a connection. Basically, you are mapping your offline DGN to the cloud. And in there, as you can see here, this is a web-based application where OpenTunnel has sent all the information to the cloud. You have here different options for creating, for instance, design review options like issues. You can create civil drawings in here. You can create also some quantities reports. And you can turn off any information from here like maps. You can also see all the drawings that you have previously created in your offline file, in your DGN on your machine. They will be sent also to iTwin. So you will be able to see here, I'm just selecting one of the drawings. So this is very useful when you are doing the design review, when you are sending this information to a design checker, that it doesn't mean that he needs to have necessarily your actual model from your machine. Maybe he is not working with the application that you are working, but you would like to share with him your model with all the drawings. He can have the review and tell you you have a problem here or everything is okay, and you can proceed to deliver that project.
Mm-hmm.
For actual, let's say, cross sections and cuts, we are providing here tools where you will be able to create different live drawings with the geometry. And also all of these objects have properties. Depending on what the user has assigned to them through item types, those will be visible into the cloud also. So you can add your own metadata when you are creating the model in OpenTunnel, and then OpenTunnel will send all of that information to iTwin so that everyone that is involved in that project will be able to see that metadata also. We'll create here an issue. Because I was the only one in this project, I will assign it to me. And you'll see that once this has been saved as an issue, I will receive on connection client in our client an alert that something has happened, somebody has assigned a task to me. I will open that one and you can see here that we have an issue that I will have to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, when I
Do we have
discovered
any other questions so far?
yes, but are not related to this topic. We can cover
Okay.
it later. No, I was going to add here because I have experienced it myself. This is amazing. I mean, when I discovered this design review workflow that we have in Bentley, it's just amazing. I was using Bentley tools before, but we didn't know about it. And of course, probably you will understand the amount of time that you spend when you are doing this type of design reviews meetings with many people from different disciplines. Of course, is amazing when you had a chance to look at the same 3D model at the same time. But this tool, especially for project managers, is super useful and super handy because you can save views of where you have located potential issues. So now the people cannot be like tenants by tenants trying to look for potential mistakes. You can also identify the mistake or the potential error and also assign the discipline. So at some point, you can have a list of issues filtered by disciplines, drainage, architectural, installations, geotechnical, and also you can filter by status, because the idea here is that when I get the notification from the project manager that I have something to do, if I am, for example, the geotechnical guy, I can update the status of this action. So this is essential to keep track of all the actions after each design review meeting. So actually, the project manager can export into Excel spreadsheet, right? So you will have
Yes.
in that Excel action, date, owner, status, because many times there are some actions that are missed, and it's a pity once you have already spent some time in trying to sort it out, right? So, and also the fact of be able to receive a notification with your name, with the view of where the issue is, because the project manager has been already working on that, is just amazing and saves a lot of time. So yeah, just wanted to highlight that. Thank you, Vlad.
Thank you also. So let's continue here with what we will present in
Yes.
our second webinar.
Mm-hmm.
So I will go quickly through some of the key capabilities that OpenTunnel can do at this point with Plaxis. And the most important one is that we are automatically creating the tunnel geometry and the reinforcement geometry for Plaxis. As you can see here, I have my physical model created in OpenTunnel, and this is what we have created in Plaxis. Plaxis needed 5 minutes to run our script and create this geometry. And OpenTunnel needed like 10 seconds to create the script. So this is the value that OpenTunnel brings to the market, that the tunnel engineer should not, or not the tunnel engineer, let's say the geotechnical engineer, he should not spend his time on creating the geometry. He should spend his time on analyzing the structure.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the times he is wasting a lot of time, because you need, in order to create this geometry, you need to work in a 3D space. You need to make sure that everything links correctly so that you don't have issues with the meshes. And a lot of time is spent here. Even if you are using Python scripts inside Plaxis, let's say you are very advanced users, you are still losing time because you are doing this in trials. I'm creating a section. Let me see that if it's okay. I'm creating a new one. Let me mesh it. Let me see if it's okay. We are doing this in seconds, not in days or weeks.
Mm-hmm.
For the geometry, what we are doing right now, we have the option to send the lining geometry to Plaxis either as a region, as you can see it here in Plaxis 2D. We can send also this as a plate, and we have a new option that is coming in the next release that we'll show it in our last webinar.
Mm-hmm.
But also in some cases, we know that, for instance, in the case of 2D, when you have the four-pulse umbrella, OpenTunnel has the option to say, you don't need the circles that are defining the four-pulse. We need to send to Plaxis an area that we can say that that's an improved soil zone that have higher capacity and strengths that are mimicking the resistance of the four-pulse umbrella. Because if we are sending just the circles, that will be of no good for the geotechnical engineer. So we have tried to create advanced options for the users by creating a difference between the physical model, where I can design something, I can model something inside OpenTunnel, but this doesn't mean that I need to send it to the geotechnical analyzer. Maybe that object is not needed. So this is something that we will discuss in the next webinar, and I will
Actually,
let
yeah.
here Sergio to continue.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you will have here, you have here the QR code. Okay, so I will recommend you just to scan it and register, because that will drive you to the landing page of the second webinar that will take place the 14th of November, I think. Okay. In the meantime, while we let the people to scan the code, by the moment, yeah, by the way, let me, if you don't have with you your phone, I will place here in the chat, okay, for everybody, the link to register yourself, okay? So let me copy it and I will paste it here. There you go, to all, sent. Okay, that's the link for the second webinar. In the meantime, Vlad, maybe we can go over the other questions that I have found here. There is one related to, let me see, because there we go. We have Stefania. Thanks, Stefania, for the question. When exporting to Plaxis, first question, is there a risk that we experience, especially in 3D meshing problems?
It all depends on how the user has created his tunnel template, basically the geometry. We cannot say that this is 100% fail-proof. What I can say is that it all depends on how you are defining your template. If you are creating very small overlapping geometries in OpenTunnel, because we can create those, when you will send that information to Plaxis, for sure that will give you option with intersecting the solids, with meshing, and so on and so forth. But even so, we have seen from our early access users, not workarounds, but maybe a different approach where they need to create a high level of detail for the physical model, basically the OpenTunnel model, but also they don't need that higher modeling for Plaxis. And in this case, sometimes the geotechnical engineer will just recreate quickly the tunnel, but he will not add all the additional information that is not needed inside Plaxis. And also he can do there some simple simplifications and assumptions so that he can have a quicker run inside Plaxis without problems. And usually what they are doing, they are overlapping the high level of detail model with the one created by the geotechnical engineer so that they can keep track of any changes if they appear during the design. But if the tunnel template is created correctly and we don't have issues with the geometry, then whatever you have modeled inside OpenTunnel, that will go to Plaxis.
Excellent, Vlad. Stephanie, I know that you have placed 2 extra questions as well. A bit mindful about the time. Quick one from Giacomo. Okay, Stefania, we can answer later in the Q&A the ones that you have left. Okay.
Okay.
We have one from Giacomo. Thanks for the questions. We have 2. Again, I will pick one, and maybe the second one we can leave it for the Q&A session. Okay, like in 5 minutes. Just I want to finalize the presentation. Giacomo is asking, can you assign property sets to model elements?
You can assign through item types technology. Basically, the item types are, let's say, property sets options that are attached to the feature definition. Those item types can read the properties of the solid and the civil properties, like the length of the bar, the diameter, the element that he belongs. But also, if you would need to add your additional options and inputs there, you can edit the item type and add, I don't know, like the design, the name of the design engineer, Mr. somebody, okay? Or I need to build this at this date or things like that. So everything is customizable by the user, and all of that information will go through our Civil connector to iTwin.
Okay, thank you, Vlad. Okay, we can continue.
Okay, I have one more
Video, yeah.
small video regarding the interoperability with pro structures. So in this model, what we have done was we had the OpenTunnel model, and then pro structures, because it's based also on the DGN technology on MicroStation, we just reference the tunnel inside pro structures, and in there the drafter have added the concrete rebar, steel ribs with brackets, and so on and so forth. And everything has been detailed with tailored solution for this type of elements. Basically, pro structures is the one that will model and detail these additional elements. In the end, if the user wants to bring that information back to OpenTunnel, again, it's fairly easy. You just need to reference the pro structure model inside OpenTunnel, and now you will see that all the reinforcement and all the elements are visible also in OpenTunnel. So another check mark on our list, I would say here, for structural interoperability or for drafters and BIM managers that were interested on this matter.
Super.
Okay. In the end, I would like to finish, let's say, my presentation with some benefits that we think that our integrated tunnel design solution is bringing to the market, and we'll focus on OpenTunnel Designer. We'll start with increasing the productivity by reducing the modeling time up to 50% and the drafting time up to 70%. Those numbers that you are seeing on the screen are not coming from us. We had an extensive early access program with users around the world where they have tested OpenTunnel versus their current solutions. And we have received these numbers from them. Because we are creating automatically the geotechnical models for Plaxis 2D and 3D, some of our users told us that in the case of Plaxis 3D for complex models, they have seen reduction in time up to 80%. So again, it all depends on the complexity of the model, the length, and everything that is needed to design that tunnel. In the end, OpenTunnel will behave, in our opinion, as one single source of truth, and this will give you the benefits of having parametric modeling, performing clash detection, easy collaboration between different disciplines because everyone will work with one single model, and you will identify and mitigate the risk early on during the design and not after the design when you are starting to build your model and all the errors will start appearing because the initial design has not been done properly.
Exactly, because sometimes they request us the BIM implementation just for the 3D model drawings but at the very end, and it's something that should start at the very beginning of the design process, right? So
BIM, it's not only by creating a physical model for an asset, it's also regarding a very good interoperability and switching information from one application to other without losing the information during this process.
Exactly. Great. Okay, I will make myself the presenter again just to finish with the session. Guys, what we have here is you remember when at the beginning we discussed about that ideal software and its functionalities. Okay, we have here those functionalities that we got from our guest, our tunnel expert from the previous session. So I think that after all the explanation from Vlad, not only about open tunnels, about also all the integrated tunnel design solutions that we have in Bentley, we can understand that we can place some of the checks, right, in that ideal software that Claudio was looking for, right? So we have the first one, geology included and automatically updated. This is a green check for Leapfrog and Open
Yeah,
Ground.
I will add on this one, if I may,
Mhm.
Sergio.
Sure.
Leapfrog has here all the capabilities to create named versions for the geological models. So let's say you have your initial design where you have a few boreholes and you start your modeling, but during the design you are receiving new information, and you are just increasing the fidelity of your model. Leapfrog is able to create named versions and automatically update everything. And in the same time, because he's creating name versions, he can export that new version to IFC. OpenTunnel will be able to read it and update also the model in OpenTunnel. And something that we are working for future versions will be to automatically connect to Leapfrog through Central and read the geological model from there and update then directly without the need of importing through IFC.
Excellent. Perfect. So yeah, green check for Leapfrog and Open Ground, and green check WIP work in progress. That's the other qualification that we have made for this table for OpenTunnel Designer. Okay, let's continue. I mean, we are running out of time. I will run all the checks so you can later have a look at the review if you want. But yeah, we can say that all the, let's say, integrated tunnel design solutions that we are presenting here today with OpenTunnel, Plaxis, Leapfrog, and ProStructures and OpenGround are covering most of the functionality that was described as an ideal for that ideal workflow, right? Okay, okay, that's great. Let me continue. I will again share with you the QR code for that second webinar that is going to take place by the 14th of November, where we are going to be more focused about OpenTunnel, Plaxis, and Leapfrog, the way they have to integrate, okay, between each other. And also we will have a user case, and one of the early users access, okay, is going to present us, well, some of the models they have been working for already a year now, because they started somewhere before
Yes.
2023, right? So I think that it's going to be very interesting to listen and to hear from a user that has been already testing OpenTunnel for some months, okay? What is their feedback? And as I said, that potential third session that we will let you know about the release that is coming with a lot of new functionality. Okay, I will run another poll, guys. So let me come here and find the poll, because I really want to understand for you what of the following OpenTunnel Designer functionalities you find the most interesting. Connection with Plaxis with a single click, the fact that you can do design analysis and drawings in the same software pack, or however, that I am using a purpose-built software for an infrastructure project. That, as we said at the beginning, sometimes people are just looking for workarounds, right? From architectural or CAD softwares, civil as well. Or however, all of the above. In the case that you understand that the connection with Plex is the fact that you can do many different tasks from the same software, and also that we are talking about a software that is made and thought on purpose for tunnel design, is something that really you find that can improve your current workflow. Okay, I can see people is voting. Let me 3, 2, 1. Let me close it, and I will share with you the results. Vlad. So there you go. For most of the people, think that all of the above, the different functionalities, are important for them. And the second position is that connection with Plaxis within a single click, avoiding the scripting, which is the most interesting for them. And then we have, the fact of you can do design analysis and drawings within the same tool. And we're talking about a purpose-built software. So thanks again for your answers. And I will launch the last one. Okay, just it's important for us if you really want to join and us to create more webinars about OpenTunnel. Do you think that OpenTunnel Designer could improve your current tunnel design workflow? So we expect that we get a yes, right? If we have no's, it will be good if you can please describe it so we can have a look and try to understand it, right? Because there can be
Yeah,
always some cases where, yeah, for whatever reason, this is not the tool that can jump in and sort your sort out your problems. Okay, so let me close it and let me share it with you guys. So yeah, most of the people,
good news.
yeah, agreed that OpenTunnel can be can add value into their current workflow, and there are some people that think that not. So again, especially for these ones, it will be great if you can leave a comment over there so we can understand why. Okay, that's great. Let me hide it again, and yeah, it will be, I guess, interesting for you to understand in the case that you would like either to test or go to test with one license, the different ways that you have to acquire OpenTunnel Designer. Currently, as you know, we have annual subscriptions or perpetual subscriptions as well, perpetual license. But for the annual subscriptions, the good point is that they come with free training, right? So you can either go for OpenTunnel Designer as a single solution, and you will get up to 5 keys, which is more or less 10 hours of free training included with the license. Or you can go, you can acquire OpenTunnel Designer by means of the Bentley Civil War Suite. In this case, it comes not only with OpenTunnel Designer, it comes with 8 extra tools as well. And here I think that it's important to highlight that it comes with OpenRoad Designer and Pro Structures, okay, which is a software that is kind of involved and connected into this integrated tunnel design environment that we are building up, right? You may think that Civil War Suite is super expensive because it comes with 9 solutions. I need to say here, no. Actually, sometimes, depending on the country, the Civil War Suite has the same price or even sometimes cheaper than the solution as an standalone. Okay, so if at some point you are interested on it, please ask me because there are some price books on the website that are not updated. Okay, so we can have a chat and for sure we can get a good price for you. Okay, and that's it. Well, as I said, the annual subscriptions comes with free training. Okay, so depending on the type of tool, you get more or less training hours included with the license. We have sometimes also many people that don't know how they can learn Bentley software in general, but of course this time OpenTunnel as well. So if you go and you scan again this QR code, it will drive you to a LinkedIn post that I made some weeks ago, where I describe and I add all the different links, okay, that you have to learn Bentley software for free. If you're a student, you have free access and full access to Bentley Education and also to training material. You can access the Learn server as well. It doesn't matter if you're a student or a professional. We will have there some learning paths, okay? We have many videos in the YouTube channel for OpenTunnel Designer. You just need to go to YouTube, just type OpenTunnel Designer, access the page, and there you will find many videos. We have also Bentley communities, which is a great source of understanding some issues that maybe you have and someone already had in the past, right? So it works very, very well among our users. So I would recommend you to have a look at it. Again, if you scan this QR code, you can access to the different links. We have as well a special interest group that are happening time to time. This type of webinars that we are organizing. And apart from that, if you really want to go for regular training, we can provide it as well, right? Of course, it comes with a cost in this case. You have also the free training included in the license, but you can extend the number of hours into this license. And again, it comes under a cost, okay, under a price. So for those that are still with us, if you don't mind, it will be great if you can answer this survey. Okay, it will help us to understand if you like the content, the way we make it, and also give you the chance to suggest any ideas, okay, for future content as well. So that this help us a lot, right? Because sometimes we make the webinars and, well, of course, based on the number of attendees, we can understand if they are interested on it or not. But of course, it will be a lot better. We can get your feedback, okay? So thanks for that. And yeah, time for questions. Again, I have placed in this final slide either the QR code for that final webinar or the one for the survey. If you can do both, that's great. And let me go again back to the questions chat because we have some of them. Okay, some of the people already left, but I think that we can answer. So when they get the recording, they will find it. Okay, Estefania, as I said, we answered one of her questions, but we have two more. Second one is the reinforcement elements added in OpenTunnel Designer are automatically translated into the structural elements in Plaxis as embedded beam rows, plates, etc.
Yes. Yes. We are sending, for instance, the rock bolts, the 4 poles, the fiberglass, all of that is sent as an embedded beam. For the lining, you have the option to specify if you want to send the lining, for instance, in the case of Plaxis 3D, as a volume, or if you want to send it as a plate. And we will have a new option in the upcoming version of OpenTunnel Designer regarding how we are sending this information to Plaxis.
Excellent. Third question, all the additional elements such as interfaces and others necessary to the calculation are directly added and managed in Plaxis?
The interfaces are automatically created. What we are not sending at this moment are the loads and also the stages. So we are not creating the stages. Basically, we are creating at this moment in time only the geometry. And the user will add over that geometry additional loads, and then he will go to mesh and then to construction stages to create those stages. But for future versions, we hope that we'll have this implemented also.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Stefania, for those questions. Giacomo already left, but he had a second question and a third one. How do you model the intersection with crossing elements, such as cross passages or technical rooms?
The cross passages can be modeled as transversal tunnels. So basically, it's another tunnel. And we have the MicroStation tools to do Boolean operations. So basically, the user can say, I would like to cut this lining part with this shape coming from the other tunnel. And in this way, he has full control on intersecting the solids and creating the geometry that he needs there.
Excellent. Thank you, Vlad. Third one, how do you parameterize the model templates to follow road widenings?
Those ones will have to be done by splitting the tunnel in units. So if I know that I will need to, let's say, enlarge to loft a section from a smaller geometry to a bigger geometry, I'll have to split the tunnel. One tunnel will be with a constant section, and the second tunnel will be with a linear transition unit. In there, you will have two different cross sections.
Excellent. Great, Vlad. Thank you.
And this will also be shown in our release webinar. So a lot of the questions have also responses in our last webinar when we will make a full disclosure on 2023 release.
Excellent. Great. So hope we have Giacomo as well on that one. More questions from Masoud. Thank you, Masoud. Is sequencing defined in OpenTunnel?
At this moment, no, but this is something that we will for sure implement in future versions.
Okay. Another one from Masoud. For example, it was, for example, top heating and vents. So that is already answered. Okay. Do you offer training workshops on OpenTunnel Designer?
Through keys, yes, we have this.
Okay.
So through keys, once the software is bought, let's say, You have,
Exactly.
through keys, you can have a dedicated application engineer that will help you, but as a first step, you can visit the Learn server, you can visit our YouTube channel, and in there, that is a free training.
Exactly. And if you really want to test the tool yourself before,
Yeah.
just contact me because we can provide you an evaluation license for that. Okay. Okay. And another question from Rufino. Thanks, Masood, by the way. Question from Rufino. Is it possible to have head walls modeled with two arcs, horizontal and vertical?
I will need to see a specific cross-section for that one, but we are supporting for the geometry from arcs, B-splines, and anything that you can draw in 2D, we can support it. So basically, as long as you have your 2D geometry created correctly, we will be able to extrude it. So I don't think that will be a problem.
Okay, that's great. And another one from David. Can we use different type of reinforcement within the same section of the tunnel?
Yes, yes. Each section of a tunnel can contain a different reinforcement. I can place the rock bolts on all the sections, and I can place only, let's say, the
Fiberglass for.
shotcrete on given other sections, or I can have rock bolts on top. So I can use the rock bolts on top, but at the bottom, maybe using the same rock bolts command, I would like to create some micro piles or piles. So again, this is possible. And also in our last webinar, we will see the new features coming for placing the reinforcement that will have also a good response to this question.
Excellent, exactly, because as we said, right, you have been working closely with some of the early access users, so some of them
Yes.
have identified some of these issues, right, that has been already sorted in the new release. So excellent.
Exactly.
I will highly recommend you to join us for that session as well. Okay, great. So there are no more questions, and we have already passed the hour. But I think that it has been very, very interesting, Vlad. Thank you very much, and thanks to
Thank you all
all
for
that
joining.
still with us. Still a good number after 1 hour. So again, thanks for the questions. And if after the webinar at some point you have any question, again, you can add me in LinkedIn. The same with Vlad, and we can arrange a meeting with you and try to answer your questions. Okay. So that's it. Thank you very much. I hope to see you in the next webinar. Remember, 14th of November. Okay, same time as today. That
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye.